Welcome back to BRStv, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about maintenance. Now, let's be real, nobody gets into reefing because they love doing maintenance. However, the good news is a smart, simple maintenance routine can keep your tank thriving without it feeling like a full-time job. Now, instead of tackling everything in one big session, let's break it into smaller tasks throughout the week. The smaller tasks will make the process a little more stress-free and allow you to catch problems before they start. Now, if you're new to the hobby, don't worry, we're gonna have the full checklist in the description of the video below. All right, so the first thing we'll talk about are a few daily quick checks that usually take about 5 minutes or less, but it's gonna keep your tank running smoothly and all of your creatures healthy. All right, so the first daily quick check is just a visual inspection. Now, hopefully you're looking at your aquarium every day, but if not, make sure you take time to do so. Giving your tank a one-over visually can really help you point out odd behavior in your fish, coral recession, any type of problem, something that wasn't quite the same as it was yesterday, maybe even a nuisance pest or algae that's just starting to show up and allow you to hit that problem before it becomes bigger. All right, the next daily quick check is simple. Feed your fish and coral. Now, hopefully you're all doing this anyway, every day, but really take time to watch the process. All the fish should come out, give you a feeding response. The coral should take in things, anemones should be grabbing food. Just make sure you're not overdoing it. You're not adding excess waste to the aquarium, and everybody's getting the nutrition that they need. All right, next up on our daily quick checklist, just giving your equipment a once over. Make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to, your power heads are operating, your heater's on, and the temperature's good. Just make sure everything's on and functioning as you expect it to. The last stop on our daily quick checklist is just to top off your water. Now, if you're not using an ATO system, you're gonna wanna make sure you're topping off your water every single day. Maintaining that salinity is going to be very important for the stability of your aquarium and the health of the creatures in it. Okay, so let's start breaking down our days of the week. Starting on Monday, I like to do a water parameter check. The easiest test to start with is salinity. Now, you want your salinity right at that 1.026 range. You can do this easily with a well-calibrated refractometer, or if you have one, a digital conductivity meter. Okay, so the next parameter that I like to check is alkalinity. Alkalinity is very important for maintaining stability in your reef aquarium. Now, when you do your test, you're going to want to shoot for somewhere between 8 to 12 DKH. All right, so next up is phosphates. Now, you want your phosphates at a level somewhere between 0.01 and 0.03 parts per million. That's very low range, so you want to get yourself a high quality tester. I strongly recommend the ultra low range Hanna Checker. Okay, so if we're testing phosphates, you know we're gonna check our nitrates. You want your nitrates right in that 1 to 10 parts per million range. And in order to do this, you wanna find yourself a good quality and easy to read nitrate test kit. Something like the NIOS nitrate test kit is a great example of that. Okay, so for the reefers out there that have a lot of coral, the next thing you're gonna wanna test is calcium. Calcium levels should range anywhere from 380 to 450 depending on your demand, but I like to make sure these stay in that range with something like the Red Sea Calcium Pro test. It's very easy to read, very easy to use. All right, and often overlooked is magnesium. Magnesium levels, you want somewhere between that 1200 to 1400 parts per million range. The Aquaforest magnesium test is a good one to use for that. Now, if something looks off with any of these parameters, don't panic. Small, consistent adjustments over time are better than big swings suddenly. And to check your sanity, you can always take a sample of your water to your local fish store. Most offer water testing, and that'll allow you to compare what they're seeing to what you're getting on your home tests. Okay, so Tuesday is glass cleaning day. Now for this task, I like to get myself a nice algae scraper, something like this Continuum Aqua Blade or the MaxSpec Refine Magnetic Algae Scraper. Now, something to take into account, these both have metal blades, so you're not going to want to use those if you have an acrylic aquarium. But a good stiff blade is great to get off those stubborn algae spots. Now for the corner of the aquarium and any other tight spots, it's nice to have something a little smaller like this nano sparkly sponge on a stick, which also helps protect the silicone seals from any damage caused by a metal scraping blade. Okay, one more note on cleaning your glass. Any of the equipment that you use, especially any of those tools that have a metal blade on them, you're going to want to rinse off with fresh water before you put them away. This will reduce the risk of corrosion or rust building up on the blades and possibly getting back into your tank at a later date. All right, on Wednesday, I like to go around and clean up the rockwork. To do this, I just take a turkey baster or an extra power head and direct flow into the rockwork, into the cracks and crevices of my live rock to really kick up that detritus, get it into the water column and down into the filtration system. Which brings us to Thursday. Now, I like to take this day to clean out my mechanical filtration. So let's start out with filter floss and filter socks. Now for filter floss, you're probably just gonna wanna throw that out and replace it with new. For filter socks, you can rinse them out with RODI water, or for really stubborn, really nasty ones, I like to throw them in the wash with a light bleach solution and then let them dry outside in the sun to burn off all that excess chlorine. Okay, so the next one is sponge filters. Now these are easily overlooked because they often sit down in the bottom of your AIO or down in your sump, but these can be serious detritus traps. Take these out on a weekly basis, rinse them in good salt water. You don't want to use fresh water because you want to maintain some of the beneficial bacteria that rests in these, but give them a good clean, squeeze them out, and then replace them. All right, so today's a great day to give your skimmer cup a little bit of love as well. You're not just gonna dump it today, you're gonna take it to the sink, you're gonna give it a good rinse and a good scrub to get any of that nasty residue out of the inside. Okay, today's also a great day to replace and check your reactor media. Make sure it's full, looking great, and replaced if needed. Okay, so Friday is a light maintenance day. This is the day I like to take my time to really give the outside of the tank a little touch up. I also like to take this time to clean the glass itself. Now, I just use RODI water in a squirt bottle and a squeegee, but you can use one of these Reef safe options to clean off the front of the glass and get that nice streak-free finish. The one thing you don't want to do is use any household products like Windex to clean your aquarium. Okay, to finish out the week, this is the big one, the water change day. All right, so step one here is prepare the salt water the night before. I like to put all the water in the reservoir, add the salt, add a heater and a power head, get everything circulating overnight to make sure that it's well mixed for the next day. Okay, so before you go to the next step, you want to make sure that the specific gravity of your seawater is on point. So go ahead and give it another check to make sure it sits right at that 1.026 level. Now you're gonna siphon out the water. You wanna use this opportunity to get into the cracks and crevices of your aquarium, down into the rockwork, and remove any nuisance algae that might be pestering you at the moment. All right, so the next step is to refill with that fresh seawater. The easiest is just to grab something like a pitcher or a bucket to add that seawater into your aquarium without disturbing too much. And the final check, just go back through after the water is back into your aquarium, make sure all your pumps, filters, heaters, everything is on and running as it should be. All right, everybody, that's it. Thanks for joining. I hope this has made maintenance on your aquarium a little bit easier, and we'll see you next time.